And I'm so tired of the word tiers. Oh, tier. We have a tier system. Well, I'm going to give you my NFL caste system.
Okay, explain yourself.
There are teams that, to me, remind me of movies. Ooh. And what I'm saying is that there are some of them that are at the top, and I have serious expectations. Super Bowl or bust, you know? And you're going to be one of the greatest movies of all time, meaning going in, I expect it to be of a certain caliber, all right?
Okay.
And then there are people at the very, 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 very bottom. And we're talking like, you know, I mean, free Lifetime type movies. I mean, real bad. And I have a specific name for them back in the day.
Oh, no.
Without you even, like, you wouldn't even look at it. You're like, not even looking at it. For free? No. All right?
I remember being a little kid walking around New York City for the first time, and people were like, I was like, oh, they have, Pokemon the movie. That's still in theaters. Mom, let's, like, the guy's selling it on the street. She's like, keep walking. It's like, what? Like, it was $5. But continue. It was a visceral memory in my mind, So I'm going to give you where I think all the teams are in the NFL right now. If I were to give them the analogy of some sort of a movie or using movies as the context. So it's not tiers. Okay.
It's just little buckets,
sure,
if you will.
Categories.
Yeah, almost like the feudal system, right? We have kings, we have lords, we have nobles, we have peasants.
You're going House of Dragon. Okay.
Almost.
All right.
Except I'm using movies as the analogy.
Okay.
So everyone can have their own way that they're viewing things, okay? So, for example, the Seahawks, they are the Super Bowl champs.
They are.
All right? I think for some people, they would say they're playing with house money, right? No matter what they do, you just won a Super Bowl. No one saw that coming. So they're a team that I think you could put in a variety of divisions, right? And I'm not going to tell you where I have them right now, but I'm just giving them as an example of how one team for you, Joe, might fit one category, but for me might fit another.
Sure, and there are going to be a lot of people saying, hey, the Seahawks are still primed if they want to go back-to-back. That defense is still legit. They got a lot of nice pieces. They still retained Rashid Shaheed amongst others. They lost, Walker over to Kansas City. But if you wanted to say, hey, I think they're my favorite movie's Jaws. If they're in the Jaws category, I can see that. But for you, it might be different.
Yeah. So, okay. In the Godfather division.
There you go, Godfather.
Meaning it is Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
You have franchise quarterbacks. These are guys that I think have won Super Bowls. Your team is amazing. I expect you to win a Super Bowl no matter what this year, and anything short of hoisting the Lombardi is considered a failure. I only have two teams in that division.
Really? Only two?
The Godfather division. Do you have my little sounders? Hit me with the Kansas City Chiefs. Ooh. When you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback and when you have Andy Reid as your head coach, I don't care what season happened last year. Every year that you do not win a Super Bowl essentially is a failure. And it sucks. They're in a very rare spot. They're in the New England spot. Yeah. They're in where the 49ers were with Joe Montana. They are in where the Dallas Cowboys were with Troy Aikman. They're in a very unique spot. It's almost unwinnable from a fan's perspective, because anything short of a Lombardi for the Kansas City Chiefs is a failure.
They have turned into what Belichick and Brady were for the Patriots. Andy Reid and Mahomes are now that version. As if you have those two guys with Spagnuolo, I don't want to sleep on that, the defensive coordinator, you are expected to be there at the end. You just are.
All right. And so that's one team that I have in the Godfather division. The only other team in all the NFL, for me.
It's crazy, though, they didn't make the playoffs last year, and you're expecting that. That's just what we've gone.
Well, because Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes.
Well, and also, like, let's take a step back for the Chiefs. They were expected to have one down year. I mean, God, they almost three-peated, for Christ's sake. Like, they had to have a step back at some point. So continue.
Joe, I expect them to win the Super Bowl every year.
There you go.
And until they are dead, 6 feet in the ground, and everyone's retired, I still believe that they can win the Super Bowl.
I think Carter and I still think they can win the division.
I thought they were going to come back.
Year.
Seriously. I mean, I called the Broncos that year.
You did. I didn't want to believe it.
There's only one other team that I have in the Super Bowl or bust. It is a failure not to win the Super Bowl this year in the Godfather division, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. When you have Matt Stafford and you took a quarterback in the first round to stash, when you have Aaron Donald coming out of retirement to be paired up with Myles Garrett, when you have Puka Nacua, who's facing allegations.
Did you see that bite mark? Good God.
When you have Sean McVay and you have Matt Stafford, who's won a ring, to me, they are the only team, and it's because of quarterback, coach, situation, roster, how all in they are for now. They are in a Super Bowl or bust window. The Godfather division, make them an offer they can't refuse.
Which makes why they took Ty Simpson with their first-round pick that much more confusing to me. Like, if you're in a Super Bowl now window and you have the possibility of bringing back Aaron Donald out of retirement, you're going to take a quarterback, and I get it. Like, maybe Ty Simpson's that dude. Maybe Stafford retires after this year. You have the insurance policy. But my God, that felt like a luxury pick for a team that did lose the NFC Championship, by the way. We all saw it. But I'm with you. Joe, they're the biggest favorite right now. If I'm on DraftKings right now, Sportsbook, they're at plus 550 to win the Super Bowl.
And I don't feel good about that.
The next closest team, Buffalo Bills at plus 1,000.
Yeah, well,
there's a big gap.
We'll get to that.
No, but this is what I'm saying. There's a big gap from Vegas's perspective on the Rams and everybody else. So the pressure is absolutely on them all the way in the NFC. Not even on the Seahawks, and they're the defending champs. It's all on the Rams. And rightfully so. I mean, when you add Myles Garrett to that team, are you kidding me? I still makes me sick if I'm a Niner fan that they got Myles Garrett. They got Myles Garrett. And here we are playing patty cake with Brandon Ayuk.
Well, look, you still got to go win.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's the NFL. Anything can happen.
Joe, we were talking about last year with Matt Stafford, his back. If his back gets hurt, they might be screwed this year. They might have to call Jimmy Garoppolo. Yikes.
All
okay,
right.
So you have, in the Godfather division, two teams, Super Bowl or bust truly, Chiefs, Rams. What's my next category?
I've got the Revenant division. And in this one, this is teams that need to go on a journey. Whether they get it mauled by the bear or not, it doesn't matter. Conference championship game, bare minimum.
I like what you do there. Bare minimum. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Bare minimum.
He didn't mean to do that.
First team, the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. I'm sorry, you got to get to the conference. You could argue that they need to go farther, and I would listen to that. Like, getting to a Super Bowl and losing would be a great year for the Buffalo Bills. No one wants to hear that, but I truly believe it. Like, they just get there. If they could just get there to a Super Bowl, it would be huge. I think that the Buffalo Bills are a team that has to go somewhere of significance this year, or it's an utter failure.
I mean, how many first-time head coaches have been able to do that? Joe Brady taking over for the first time. Like, in the history of the NFL, how many first-time coaches have gotten to a conference championship or Super Bowl? It's going to be tough.
Joe,
but they clearly felt that Sean McDermott was not going to get them there.
No one's going to take them serious until they go somewhere significant.
I agree. And that's the nature of the beast, man.
Okay.
Sorry,
so
you got to break through. I am in agreement with you. And especially after seeing the Patriots of all teams get to the Super Bowl last year, like, that felt like the Buffalo Bills. Dude, it was on a silver platter with no Mahomes there.
I
agree.
He couldn't
do it.
I agree. Next team in my Revenant division. You got to go on a journey. You got to get to the conference championship, bare minimum. Give it to me. It's the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you got Derrick Henry in his prime, also a new coach.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, he's got to do something in the playoffs. You can make an argument this is also a team like the Bills that actually needs to get to the Super Bowl. And every year that you don't win the Super Bowl is a wasted year. But, like, now I'm looking at it, and if I'm Allen and I'm Lamar, both these guys, like, I got to get there once in my career. I have to get there at least one time. Are the Ravens ever going to do anything of significance with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? It's a question that I don't have the answer to.
Listen, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He has multiple MVPs, multiple MVP runners-up. He is solidified in Canton, Ohio. All that remains for Lamar Jackson, like a lot of these guys, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, is getting that Lombardi trophy. And it's been a very strange offseason for the Baltimore Ravens. They thought they were getting Max Crosby. They got cold feet. They didn't want to give up 2 first-round picks. They bring in Jesse Minter after firing longtime coach John Harbaugh that won a Super Bowl there with them. I'm very curious to see the Baltimore Ravens this year, Joe, because if you told me they didn't make the playoffs altogether, I actually don't think that's not crazy.
That division is just up in the air.
It's always a weird division. Yeah. How the hell do the Steelers year in and year out keep eking into the playoffs? They're not that good. We don't think that highly of them. And they beat the Baltimore Ravens after a missed kick last year to get to the playoffs. So, but I'm with you. Expectations are high in Baltimore.
All right. My next team in the Revenant division.
And this is conference championship or bust.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Bear down. Da-na-na.
You could argue this team's playing with house money and it doesn't matter what they do this year. You could also argue that this team should be in the Super Bowl or bust because of the defense that they have. But I think the Seahawks are on this same trajectory as everyone. The current Super Bowl champs, they've got Sam Darnold coming back. He's making more money. They've lost some pieces. They've added some pieces. Mike McDonald has got a target on his back finally for the first time in his career. I think he's getting his flowers justly. But this is a team, the Seahawks, I think you could put them in a variety of divisions and you would nod your head and agree. Do you think they should be in this one?
That's a great question. I do think in the history of the NFL, since 2000, there's only been 2 teams to go back-to-back. That's the Tom Brady Patriots in the early 2000s and the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes recently. The Seahawks probably going to have a down year if we're just going by history. Because what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles last year, defending Super Bowl champs on line 1? Yeah, they were a playoff team, but we saw dysfunction written over them the entire season. Now, the Seahawks are different. Maybe they have, like, Sam Darnold's not a diva. He's not like Jalen Hurts. He's kind of a ho-hum guy. I don't see any divas on that team, like, at all, quite frankly. Like, is Jackson Smith and Jigba all of a sudden going to be like me after that one breakout year? I don't see it. So I'm with you. Like, you could put them in the Super Bowl or bust category. I just don't think anyone would be surprised if the Seahawks had a down year because the Super Bowl hangover is real, Joe.
Sure.
Unless you're a generational quarterback and head coach combination like the Chiefs and Patriots.
And it's just so hard to repeat.
It's just really hard.
And look, you could also say like that they're in the like can't lose category.
Yes.
Like they just can't lose.
Yes.
All right, next team.
Next team.
Boy, you know, it's got to be the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions finished 9-8 last year, 4th place in the NFC North. They were 15-2 the year prior. They came into last year as a Super Bowl favorite. And Dan Campbell lost both coordinators. They started off 7-4, and they were 1 game behind the Chicago Bears, and they won just 2 of their final 6 games. They were eliminated from playoff contention for the first time since 2022. I mean, this is a team with this coach and this personnel that's got to go deep this year, I think, or major shakeups happen. What say you?
This is where we're going to start to differ a little bit. The Detroit Lions, I think, missed their window. I just think they did.
They got maybe the best running back in the game.
That's fine. They do. Do you trust that defense?
They've got Laporta. They got Amon-Ra. They've got Hutchinson.
Laporta's coming off like some sort of like back injury surgery.
I'm just saying their personnel is very Jameson Williams. They have elite personnel. Maybe the best tackle in the sport.
They lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn last year, and it showed. It did. It absolutely showed that they lost some of the experience and this some of the calluses that they built up with that coaching staff. I like Dan Campbell. He's been probably one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in Lions franchise history in my lifetime. Anyways, I'm
Wayne
not going
Fonts
back
online too.
I'm not going to like 1950s or 60s, whatever you want to go to for the Detroit Lions. That being said, I think they missed their window, Joe. I don't have those expectations for the Detroit Lions. I think division, if you win that, great. If you can make the squeak by in the playoffs, great. I don't think they need to make the conference title game, though, because I think they've missed their window overall. But the expectations locally for them might be what you're saying.
Jared Goff has the 2nd highest cap hit in the league this year.
He does.
I think it's almost $70 million. All right, let's get to our next team on this list. This is the Revenant division, teams that have to go on a journey to, at minimum, the conference championship, bare minimum.
All right, I'm writing it down right now. So we had the Super Bowl or bust category for the Godfather, Chiefs, Rams. Now in this conference title game or bust, Bills, Ravens, Seahawks, and then the Lions now the next one, correct?
Yes, and let's go through these a little quicker. All right,
yes.
let's rat-tat-tat do it. Give me the next team. The Denver Broncos.
Wow.
You lost at home last year. How? Because your quarterback isn't any good and he got hurt.
You like Bo Nix.
Sean Payton, when was the last time you won a big playoff game? Everyone wants to talk about Kyle Shanahan losing a lot of big games. Sean Payton on line 1. Sean Payton on line 1 with a championship-level defense. The Broncos have to go to the conference championship. Otherwise, they're going to be looking at their quarterback, and I think they're going to be looking at their situation as a whole.
By the way, the pace We're on pace. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
So we don't have to rush through anything. We're doing a great job. It was like our Silverado thing.
I didn't know
our
if it
golf
was
cart said
boring the crowd.
we're ahead of pace right now. We're doing a great job. So the Broncos, really? The Denver Broncos.
You think they could go back to the divisional round and lose, and that's it?
I know
you lost at home.
I know. Well,
to
they
Drake
had a backup quarterback. They had a backup quarterback, Jarrett Stidham. It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate they lost their quarterback, Joe.
Bo Nix played the role of Tim Tebow last year, where he was awful for 2-3 quarters every game, and then had crazy fourth quarters. If you don't
did they not miss him in that conference title game?
Of course they did. But they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They are a team that is expected with that defense to travel no matter where they go. If you don't think that a Sean Payton team with a top 5 defense is in conference championship or bust mode, I think you're tripping.
I don't put the Broncos in that category yet.
His hand-selected quarterback.
Listen, they were just there. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt if Bo Nix can stay healthy. And this is another one. If Jalen Waddle can stay healthy, because that's the big wide receiver they added this offseason out of Miami. They make the trade there. They bring in Jalen Waddle. I don't know if I love him in Denver, in the altitude, in that division.
I love him with Sean Payton.
But I love it. You just took the words right out of my mouth. I love him with Sean Payton because say what you will about him, he is still a top offensive mind in the game. And there is another thing there that we haven't really touched on. What is the Bo Nix Sean Payton relationship? It's very strange what I'm hearing out of Denver. Is it the injury, the surgery, whether to have it, whether or not. Is this going to be some sort of thing that's going to linger throughout his career? I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of question marks. I'm not going to put them in the conference or bust category, so that's where we're going to differ here. I think if they can get to the divisional round, and then see where you go from there, that's fine.
You should talk to a Bronco fan. They would be devastated.
I'm sure all these fans have that expectation.
The Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Patrick Surtain and a defense that was ferocious last year.
Well, they also all believe in Bo Nix, so they're all going to say, hey, if we have a healthy Bo Nix, we got a shot. They all believe in him. I don't think you and I do.
All right, this team I think is in a similar boat as the Denver Broncos because of the defense. Give me the next team in the Revenant division.
And this is the conference championship game or bust.
Yeah, bare minimum. Texans, the Houston Texans.
Wow.
Clearly they have a quarterback issue. Clearly that team has one of top 2-3 defenses in the league. They've got one of the best young defensive linemen in the game, and they have offensive personnel. They have a great head coach. But we're questioning the quarterback. The Texans are absolutely in conference championship or bust mode. Absolutely. Specifically because of their quarterback play.
Yeah, I can't even I can't put them in there because I just don't think their quarterback's any good anymore. Unfortunately, I can't put them in this spot because I think DeMeco Ryans knows deep down CJ might not be the guy. He's regressed from his rookie season onward. And it pains me to say that, Joe, because you know how high I was on CJ Stroud when he came out of Ohio State. The efficiency, the touchdown to interception ratio, that has gone askew. I can't get that Pittsburgh Steelers game out of my mind, even though they won it. And the New England Patriots game, I also can't get out of my mind because that defense showed up for Houston. That defense is ferocious. And for my money, and you can take Broncos if you want. I'm taking that Houston Texans
hard-hitting
defense.
linebackers.
Will Anderson's a beast.
Yeah, and then they have multiple corners
Aziz
that can make
Al-Shire.
Yeah,
we know about him.
I'm sorry, you can't have in the NFL when you have a top 5 defense. You have to get deep in the playoffs.
I agree.
Because it travels.
I just don't think they have a quarterback. I just don't think they have.
Which is why he, more than anyone on this team, has to do something in the playoffs.
You think he's got the most approved this season amongst most quarterbacks?
That's a different day.
No, okay.
Don't take material.
That's a different material. We'll put that. But CJ Stroud's probably in the top 5 in that regard.
All right, next team. Revenant team that needs to go on a journey and needs to get there no matter what, bare minimum, to the conference championship. It's got to be the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have weapons galore. They have a quarterback who everyone thinks stinks, but we all know deep down inside he's good and has done nothing in the playoffs. Dak has no signature playoff moments. He needs one. He needs one bad. Guys, can we all admit? He needs one bad, right? This defense isn't that bad on paper. They might have everyone's favorite safety in the draft. Right? The kid from Ohio State.
Yeah.
This is a team that has to win a couple games in the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys.
I agree with the Cowboys being on this list. The more I keep hearing about them, whether it's on the Fox Sports Radio when I'm driving in, whether it's in the afternoon show, everyone loves some Dallas Cowboys this year. I got to believe it to see it. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
That's a different category.
That's a different category, but they didn't make the playoffs last year. They're one of those iconic brands, though, like the Lakers. They're always going to believe it's championship or bust. That's their mentality. Now, it seems like a laughing kind of a proposition because they haven't sniffed a championship game or a championship Super Bowl in 30-plus years. Like, 1995, 6, whatever it was. But that's going to be the expectations. George Pickens, by the way, not getting a contract extension and playing on the franchise tag. Something to monitor as this season goes on. Combustible, potentially. They got combustible written all over them because of Jerry Jones, Pickens, Dak, CD. Is there going to be some fighting for some possessions? Could we see an A.J. Brown type of situation in Philly this year in Dallas? Something to monitor, Joe.
God, there's just so much. There's so much.
Hold on. For the conference title game or bust, I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams already that is conference title games or bust in the Revenant category. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I got a couple more.
Oh, my God. Okay. He's got a couple more.
No, I just think there's a lot of teams in that second tier.
True.
Next team. It's got to be the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team with personnel up and down the board. They have a Super Bowl coach, a Super Bowl quarterback. They have one of the best running backs in the game. They have one of the best offensive lines on paper. They have one of the best defenses on paper. They've got great coordinators. To me, the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely have to get to the bare minimum conference championship game. Otherwise, their season is a complete failure. And I think Sirianni would be looking for a new job after losing in the wild card round to the Niners.
If you wanted to put them in the Super Bowl or bust category, I would have been okay with it. That's how highly I feel about the Philadelphia Eagles. They drafted Lemon out of USC, kind of fell down to them. Kind of a quirky guy, but I think it was a great pick for them because they knew they were going to move off of A.J. Brown. They finally did that. A.J. Brown is now a New England Patriot after all of the, drama back and forth with Rossini, Vrabel, and all the reporting, this, that, and the other. But the Eagles are only 1 year removed from winning a Super Bowl. Not just winning a Super Bowl, Joe. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. They still have a lot of really good players. Joe, if you wanted to go just name for name, pound for pound, they might have the most talent in the NFL still. The question is, what's the offense going to do? It always comes down to the quarterback. What version of Jalen Hurts are we getting this season? I have no idea. Has the dark cloud been lifted, as I go Steve Kerr on you, has the dark cloud been lifted in Philadelphia with A.J. Brown gone? We're going to see. But if you wanted to put them in Super Bowl or bust because of Philadelphia and the nature of that fan base, I would have no problem with it. That's how highly I think of the talent on that team.
Last team in the Revenant division, and this is going to be controversial. It's the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
They absolutely have to get to the conference championship or bust this year. Some would argue Super Bowl. I disagree. Some would say, no, it doesn't matter. No. When you have a franchise quarterback like Brock Purdy and an aging team where a lot of guys are going to make a lot of money, this could be the final year of Bosa in a 49er uniform. We just don't know. They have a lot of financial stuff hanging over them. You've got an older core as a whole. You've got coordinators you like, but you just don't know about. I think the 49ers absolutely have to get to the conference championship. Otherwise, anything short of that is an utter failure.
I agree with you. I do think it is conference title game or bust for the San Francisco 49ers this season. The moves that they made in the offseason, not getting younger, but getting older with Mike Evans, signals to me that they want to double down on the success that they had last season, build off that, and they realize they need a bona fide number one dude to do that. A game changer at the wide receiver position. Hey, we don't know when George Kittle's coming back, guys. Now, what we all like to think it might be week 1. I have no idea. Do you know what version of George Kittle we're going to get, by the way? I don't. The guy's coming off an Achilles injury. He has been the focal point when it comes to the receivers on offense. And he's been your tight end. He's been one of the best of all time. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know what to make of him. I mean, the workload that he has had the last couple of seasons has been incredible. He was the comeback player of the year. It was fun to watch. Hell, he was an MVP candidate last year. Can he replicate what he did last season, though, Joe? I don't know if that's sustainable. And Brock Purdy, can he stay healthy this season? We know we have a backup plan. Thank God we know we have Mac Jones backing him up this year. So if he does have to miss some time, we got a guy we can trust. All that being said, who are you taking over Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy if they're in the playoffs with a healthy Fred Warner and Nick Bosa? Because that's what they did not have last year, a healthy Fred Warner or Nick Bosa heading into the playoffs with Shanahan and Purdy. For my money, the only other team I'm taking right now, and there's two of them actually, because I have to give them their credit, it's the team in your division. It's the Rams and it's the Seahawks. Those are who you're going to be battling against, and I cannot wait for those regular season matchups. It sucks that week 1 is in Australia, but Joe, this division, just like last year, is going to go down to the wire. So you have the San Francisco 49ers in the Revenant category, conference championship game or bust. And